A 21st century mine. No elevator shafts, no pickaxes. Just stacks and stacks of whirring computers. Their overheating circuit boards naturally cooled by the chilly Canadian air. Bitfarms is a cryptocurrency mining company. It has 5 of these sites in Quebec. Its president, Jeffrey Morphy, says their machines recently crossed a mind-boggling milestone.
We are currently generating over 1 exahash of production.
1 exahash, exa being a 1 followed by 18 zeros, the number of calculations they make every second, all searching for the next hash number. The first miner to find it gets rewarded with 6.25 fresh bitcoins. Quebec has quickly become a global hub for the crypto mining industry, with around 80 companies now based in the province, all fanned by the dizzying rise in the price of Bitcoin.
As Bitcoin prices started up in October of last year, from 10,000 to 12,000 to 15 to 20,000 US dollars per Bitcoin, we were ecstatic. And then when it moved through 30 and moved through 40 and moved through 50, the margins just got stronger and stronger.
This modern virtual gold rush is all made possible by what is known as blockchain technology and how it organizes and secures transaction data. Unlike a conventional database, a blockchain is replicated on all users' computers across a distributed network. A series of encrypted data blocks are arranged in a sequential chain, a blockchain. A new block of data containing new transactions is added to the end of the chain every 10 minutes or so, just like new lines on a ledger. For security, you can't change the old blocks, you can only add new ones. And even more importantly, when any Bitcoin gets bought and sold, the data must be replicated on the majority of the network. That helps to prevent hacking and fraud. Miners verify the ever more complex history of transactions and get rewarded with new Bitcoins.
Right? It's a pure bubble. Right? It has no intrinsic value.
I personally think Bitcoin is a long-term hedge. If you really understand Bitcoin.
Just like the Alberta oil sands, the market value of what you're digging for must outweigh the cost of mining it. Morphy says it currently costs them more than $7,000 to mine 1 coin. But there's a finite number of Bitcoins left to mine, and over time, the system makes them more and more difficult to find. A recent estimate says the industry worldwide uses as much energy as Sweden. A Cambridge University study found that more than half of the mining is powered by fossil fuels. Morphy says that is why Quebec, with its low-cost hydropower, makes greener sense.
Our input in terms of electricity, our largest input, is done with renewable energy. And then our output, being heat, we're looking for value chain opportunities there where we can actually sell or use our heat as a byproduct for other businesses.
One idea in the works is to invite a tomato greenhouse farm to set up right beside the Bitcoin farm. But for now, all that Bitcoin heat is going unused. The growing field of blockchain is about much more than cryptocurrency. Just ask Alex Tapscott, co-author of the book Blockchain Revolution.
So what blockchain basically enables is digital scarcity, a way to move a unique digital asset over the internet, peer-to-peer, to somebody else without the need for a traditional third party like a bank or a government. And that might seem like a simple innovation, but it's profound.
Profound because the system, by its design, will securely and automatically verify a transaction or contract. You could theoretically write a will or buy a house without a lawyer.
Land title registries are very antiquated, mostly paper-based. By moving them onto a blockchain, we could have certainty that when you're buying a home, you know that the occupant is the owner, right? Put the deposit money into, a digital escrow inside of a smart contract, wait for the conditions of the transaction to clear, at which point the transaction would become irrevocable, just written in code.
How about an election without an army of officials?
You know, vote is an asset. When you vote once, you want to make sure you can't vote again. And so it's useful even for democracy and other government applications.
There are different types of blockchains for different uses, one of the most popular being Ethereum, co-founded by Russian-Canadian Vitalik Buterin. Ethereum supports smart contracts and the Ether currency. For those who want to trade in cryptocurrencies but don't want the risk, there are so-called stablecoins, usually pegged to the US dollar, something that could benefit people in developing nations.
You don't have access to a bank account, your local currency is being inflated away, you've got to deal with a corrupt government. This is a godsend, and we're starting to see it get picked up quite strongly in those parts of the world.
Despite the energy being used to mine cryptocurrencies, this technology could actually be put to work in tackling climate change. Pedro Baez is the head of research at the Blockchain and Climate Institute, a think tank set up to help governments and organizations harness the power of blockchain.
We look at the financial sector as a whole, and of the green or sustainable financial products. By far, green bonds stand out from the crowd. And it could be one of those financial instruments that really helps to mobilize the trillions of dollars that we need to help tackle climate change.
Baez says blockchain could make green bonds far more efficient and, most importantly, transparent. For example, satellites could be used to track tree planting efforts. The bond buyer and seller could instantly see the specific trees they've planted and the current size of the carbon offset, without the need for expensive site surveys. It could encourage even the smallest of farmers to get involved.
Really, what we need is not just these tags or labels of green. What we need is impact. What we need is measurable action, that we say, oh yeah, we remove this amount of CO2, we remove this amount of energy consumption.
A pilot project in Ecuador sells chocolate bars online. A blockchain token in the wrapper lets you help farmers plant a new cocoa tree, which you can then track online. Another green benefit of blockchain could be making power grids more efficient, where anyone with a solar panel could become a prosumer, selling energy not just to the utility, but to anyone else on the grid.
Data is fundamental for this transition, and that's why there's been this rollout for smart meters. And it's amazing how people don't understand that without smart meters, we are not going to get a smart grid, and without a smart grid, we are not going to get a green, sustainable grid.
I got solar panels because I had all this roof space, we have all this sun. I mean, look at this. This is fabulous.
The aptly named Daniel Power joined the Brooklyn Microgrid pilot project, hoping his bookstore could go green.
And so I will buy from my neighbors and that are prosumers. I might buy for myself, I don't know.
But regulation has lagged behind the technology, and 3 years on, the pandemic has stalled the rollout for now.
But after the approval from the Utilities Commission to take it a step further, nothing ever happened. Now that's when COVID hit.
Another small idea to plant cedar trees in Lebanon got cut down when the Lebanese economy collapsed, but Tapscott believes these growing pains are to be expected and can be overcome if decision makers wrap their heads around the complexities.
But also government could be a model user of this technology. A lot of the best applications of blockchain, for example, central bank digital currencies, digital health records, land titles, and so forth, are things that the government could benefit a lot from embracing. So I'm pretty optimistic. I've been pretty pleased with what I've seen so far, and I certainly hope it continues.
Blockchain's potential is huge. The biggest hurdle to it being realized could be how hard it is to grasp. But then again, how many of us know what goes on under the hood of our car or inside our smartphone?